Um, Hi everyone. This is the Full Quarter podcast, and we have a special guest with us. He was commentating on yesterday's game between South Africa and England A, otherwise known as the England Lions. So we thought it would be a good idea to get him on to get his thoughts from an England perspective and give you an idea of those players in that squad that might be making it into the England setup later in the summer, or next week actually, because that's when the ODIs begin. First of all, hi Harry, how's it going?
Yeah, mate. I'm still buzzing from yesterday. Phenomenal game of cricket. Awesome to be commentating on international cricket, and yeah, what a win for the England Lions.
Yeah, I was just speaking to my colleague, and I said to him, I'm not surprised that they won, because I'm a big shall we say proponent of county cricket and vitality blast. So I knew the talent that was there, particularly in the batting. So wasn't surprised that we lost, South Africa lost, but I was surprised in the manner, because it really was an absolute thumping, wasn't it?
If I was South African, I'd be quite embarrassed, frustrated. I'd be fuming. I don't wash this that it's a warm-up game. That's not good enough. You can't say that they're jet lagged. They've been in the country 4 days. They hadn't just got off the flight. They've been there 4 days. They were training. They were netting. A lot of them have played in England before. They're used to conditions. They've played against the bowlers before. And other than Rabada, Bavuma and de Kock, who apparently got injured in training yesterday, and obviously Rabada and Bavuma aren't there, the rest of the guys are pretty much first teamers. So that's pretty embarrassing. And not only are they first teamers, there's also 16 first teamers. So 8 batters, 8 bowlers. So there's really no excuse for South Africa.
Yeah, I looked at the batting, and I could see what the narrative was going to be from a South African perspective, and you could make this argument from the batting perspective. Lots of guys got runs, lots of guys got in. Malan, who is in exceptional form from the summer in South Africa domestically, scored a good 100. Miller did his usual thing. Klaasen got runs.
Klaasen's superb, yeah.
Yeah, but I knew, particularly on that ground, I knew that was 40 short.
Maybe 60 short. Yeah, straight away. Yeah. I said, that's not enough. 350, 370 you need at Taunton. Everyone knows Taunton's the highest scoring Pro T20 ground. So 50 over game. I was there a few years ago when Notts played Somerset and 420 played 410 in a 50 over game. So, yeah, and they just didn't... There was no intent from South Africa. The running between the wickets was really poor. They didn't go for twos. I wouldn't criticise Janaman Malan. He scored 100. Yes, he could have been slightly quicker, but he scored 100, and the other top 6 didn't do a lot. Miller and Klaasen were more towards the end, fine, but the other guys didn't do a lot. Hendricks 30-odd, but there wasn't that intent to run. There wasn't the pushing. Even at the end, Maharaj hit a couple, but really disappointed for South Africa.
Yeah, and I actually tweeted yesterday. I said, this is the different in approach, and it's how everything is streamlined in England. South Africa, after 20 overs, 97 for 2. In 2022, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
But South Africa's approach is to have any wickets at the back end to go big. England A were 167 for 2 at the same stage.
And
that's 70 runs. 70 runs difference.
And I was laughing. My Twitter, I was saying about the England-India game. So there were 2 England 50-over teams playing against supposedly 2 of the best 50-over teams in the country. If you exclude Australia and New Zealand, you think England, India, South Africa should be right up there. And England first team with Butler, Stokes, Bairstow, Root, all the big guns, Ali, Livingston, 111 all out. And England, Smeed and Banton, 111 for none. So ridiculous, the difference.
Yeah.
Strength and depth in county cricket is great to see from an English point of view. Awesome, strength and depth. It just makes even more of a mockery that the ECB have had an absolute shocker and they don't care about 50 over cricket. England are the world champions in 2019, that amazing final against New Zealand, and yet they've made the 50 over comp a second team comp because of this stupid franchise competition they brought in. It's a joke, really. And I love the Royal London Cup. It's awesome. Great to see the youngsters coming through. Great to see some of them going to have Renshaw and Siddle. A lot of counties have signed overseas. Umesh Yadav's going to play in the Royal London Cup. Washington Sundar, some big names playing Royal London Cup cricket, hopefully. But the ECB don't want to prioritise it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I could talk to you about that throughout the entire podcast, but we hear about yesterday's game. So just give our listeners and viewers an idea of those England guys, particularly Will Smeed, because he really, from the get-go, he just said to Nokia and Gidi, I don't care if you're international bowlers. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I thought they were poor, to be honest with you, as well. Ngidi and Nokia didn't look like they're bowling full pace, bowled a lot too short, long ups, really. A long up or a half volley, it seemed to be most balls. But Will Smeed's got two areas he scores in, really. I thought he'd be found out international cricket, to be honest. I love him to bits. Had a good interview with him yesterday, chatted to him after the game. Really friendly lad. Gutted from he's got this issue of getting out in the 90s. In the PSL, he got out in the 90s twice. In the T20 Blast, he got out in the 90s. And again yesterday. It's a poor shot to get out, but it's the first poor shot he played, really. He's always going to play in this. He's always, Ngidi and Nokia bowled a couple Jaffas in what? Maybe two Jaffas in 8 overs, which fine, he missed. But he whacks it over cow corner. He pulls anything, not even short, back for length. Really good at getting onto length, makes it into a short ball, flicks over mid-wicket, long on for 6 more often than not, and he cuts. He sort of slaps it through the covers. Doesn't really play a cover drive. And then suddenly yesterday, we saw him cover driving one of the best bowlers in world cricket. Well, supposedly Nokia and Ngidi. I've never seen him play a cover drive before. So I actually played cricket against Bridgewater, Will Smeed's club, a few weeks ago, and that Will Williams, who's just joined Lancashire, he was playing with Will Smeed, so I chatted to him. George Bartlett, another Somerset player, has also signed on. Bridgewater's one of the best clubs in the Southwest, and he doesn't play for them so often anymore because Will Smeed doesn't bowl, and he's actually playing more and more, and people are talking about whether he's going to get into the Championship Red Bull side, but with Goldsworthy and Rue and George Bartlett doing okay up in Southport this week, Somerset second team effectively, I don't think Smeed's going to play Red Bull very much, if at all. So the worry now, though, is does he become a bit of an Alex Hales? Does he become a franchise guru just globetrotting?
Yeah, and the other guy, the other local lad from your area, Frampton.
Yeah,
we know a bit about him, but still an exceptional player.
I think Tom Banton probably is a better player than Smeed with more shots. He's got more shots around the ground. He reverse sweeps, he cover drives, he flicky balls. He's probably got all the shots, but he's been a bit out of form this year. Hasn't done quite as well by his standards. Obviously, got a few runs in the ridiculous game on Saturday against Derbyshire, which will go down history with the record-breaking 191 win. If you guys in South Africa haven't seen that, get on the Somerset CCC YouTube channel and watch the highlights of 265, 191 run win. The poor leg spinner, Matthew McKernan from Derbyshire, he went for 88 off his 4 overs, I believe, and they were all out for 84. So, but Banton was good in that. Smeed and Banton opening batting, and that obviously helped to then play at the home ground and play for England Lions. So that's pretty cool. Tom Abel, I thought might bat at 3, the captain. He was only needed for 1 ball because Ben Duckett got out with 2 balls remaining. So it was a pretty good day for the Somerset guys at the home ground for England Lions.
Yeah, no, it certainly was. It certainly was. And even in the bowling, I thought the plans in general from the English guys on a wicket that does give you a lot of runs, I thought they kept themselves within a reachable total throughout the innings. I thought Payne in particular, who saw against the Netherlands, and I think he's going to be playing against South Africa in the ODIs. I think out of the bowlers, he's the one that might sneak in.
Yeah, I'd love to see him. Yeah, big fan of David Payne. 4 for 39 off the top of my head off his 10 overs yesterday. I think he's better than David Willey. Not as good a bat as David Willey would be the issue. Although Willey didn't get any run. That's what annoyed me yesterday from an England ODI against India point of view. Overton had a chance at the bat. Willey had a chance at the bat. All these tail enders that Cast had a chance. None of them got a big score. the rare occasion when the top six fail, which they massively did against Bumrah, I thought a Willie and Overton might have then gone and got some runs like Overton did at Eden Park against New Zealand a few years ago. But yeah, David Payne, I'd love to see him get in. He did all right in the Netherlands. He's been so unlucky. If you remember the Netherlands, Liam Livingston was under a high ball, easy catch, a dolly, and he had sunglasses and a cap on, and he dropped it. He said the sun was in his eyes, which I don't like that excuse whatsoever. It's unpleasant. I nearly dropped a catch the other day in a club game, fielding with the ball in the sun, but there's ways round it. Poor old David Payne should have had his first ODI wicket and had to wait a bit longer. But yeah, he was beautiful. In swing to the right-hander. Lovely bowler, David Payne from Gloucestershire.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was just talking to, a few months back, I was talking to Wayne Parnell, who's obviously had a lot of experience there, and he'll be over there later on as well. And he was just telling me how everything is streamlined. So right from Worcestershire to England A to England, they all play in exactly the same way, which is why the England A played the way they did. Yes, South Africa didn't bowl well, but you still got to punish those deliveries. So they still went out there. They still went out there and said, we're going to score 8, 9s, and 10s because that's the way we play, kind of thing.
I'll be honest with you, though. I don't think England Lions ever got out of second gear. South Africa was so rubbish in the field as well. Maharaj gave him a 1 to mid-off as captain, and that's a criminal. You know, he was on the 1 early in the innings. I think that's criminal. There weren't any chances. South Africa didn't create chances other than wickets they took, which is embarrassing. From the top international side, I was really, really disappointed. I thought Shamsi, Maharaj, Rabada, Williams got whacked around. I'm not sure quite why he bowled, to be honest with you, when all the other guys had more overs, but it's a warm-up game. You give him a go, fair enough. I was talking about Wayne Parnell yesterday, actually, because I remember him getting that 100 in the round slam. They probably miss that left-arm option. Janssen wasn't very good yesterday. Big, tall left-armer we know, played in the IPL. He was disappointing too. But Eskenazi just timed the ball. Hayne just timed the ball. They didn't do anything fancy. Smeed Banton, they didn't have to push the running. They didn't have to take risks. They creamed it and won with well over 10 overs remaining, with plenty more wickets in the hatch. Lintott can bat, Howell can bat, Rian Armour can bat. Will only face 1 ball. So I'd love to see whether they got 400 if they'd batted first.
That might happen on Thursday. In terms of size, Worcester ground is it's about the same.
Not as flat a wicket generally. A little bit.
No, it's not. But you still expect. I still expect. What do you expect from that game? Because obviously now that game is going to be 11 versus 11. There's no. You can't just bring somebody in. So that's going to be an actual list A game, whereas this one that we just played was just a normal 50 over game, but not a list A official game. So
I was disappointed. I wish yesterday was a list A game. I'm disappointed for Smeed and the guys for their stats or averages, whatever. It's quite cool. Well, Will Smeed still never played a list A game. It's ridiculous, for example. I think one caveat, if Quinton de Kock played yesterday, he could have gone and got a 180, 200 off very few balls. I don't know. It depends. His injury is pretty pivotal to South African chance, I think. I think Klaasen's a much better player than Carl Verheyen. Klaasen was class yesterday. He came in. He was the one batter I was really impressed with. Cover drive, reverse sweep, scoops. Just came in and timed the ball beautifully straight away from the get-go. Miller did his usual, hoiking it over mid-wicket. We know he can do that. Whacked a couple of sixes over long off as well. We know what he can do, and he's had a couple fallow years, but he's coming good again, maybe. But South Africa's bowling and fielding was the most disappointing thing. Yes, they might not score enough runs, but I just want to see a bit of fight from them. If I was a South African fan, I'd be fuming and desperate to see them care a bit more, be a bit more competitive, and give their all for the cause on tomorrow at Worcestershire. Yeah,
no, it's you're right. Look, you could say, oh, it's a warm up. It didn't matter. But when you've only got so many warm ups before the real deal, it does matter. But having runs in the bank does matter. People like Simon Harmer, who were in the test lineup later in the summer, him getting wickets now does matter. It's important. It's important that he's in form.
you make a separate point there. If I was a South African fan, I would also be disappointed. Why is George Linder not in the squad? Why is Riley Rousseau not in the squad? And why is Simon Harmer? Those three should be in your ODI squad. Riley Rousseau has been in incredible form for Somerset, whacking it everywhere. I was underwhelmed when he signed, but he's in the T20, not the ODI squad.
In his defence, Riley in the last 3 or 4 years has been playing 95% T20s, so he's in the T20 squad.
Yeah,
that's where we're going to get the best out of him from. I certainly don't think. I think we are carrying a couple of guys in the ODI squad. I definitely think that in terms of the batting, I think there are individuals there. I don't think Visa should be there. I've been saying that for a long time. Visa looks nice, looks pretty. He doesn't make the big runs. Doesn't make it matter.
I'd have Riley over Zondo, Reza Hendricks, and Carl Verheyen all day long.
Yeah, but Zondo's a special case. Zondo's in there because Temper Performer's injury. Temper Performer was, if it's available, Temper would be in there.
Even still, that I don't. For this tour, the relevance is Riley Rousseau's been in England. He's been scoring runs in England. It's not like you've got to fly him in or go to any hassle. He's here for T20s anyway. Then why not just play him in the ODIs? I just don't get it. I remember in the 2015 World Cup when he sort of made his name, quality to watch, and then a few fallow years at Hampshire, other than that 150 against Somerset, and maybe an underwhelming. You go from Chris Gale, Bab Razan, Devon Conway. The Somerset fans were underwhelmed by Riley Rousseau, and he's been simply phenomenal. And he bowls some handy off spin that he never gets used. His off spin's all right, actually. Underrated bowler, I think, too.
I don't think I've ever seen him bowl.
You should have seen him in the nets. In the nets recently, he's been turning it well. Proper turn.
No, look, you make a good point. But it goes back to South Africa's approach. South Africa's approach is simple. I don't agree with it, but it's simple. It's build a partnership, make sure you've got wickets in hand the last 10 overs, then you can go 9, 10, 11 and over. That's their approach. England's is completely the opposite. It's go hard from the beginning, and then if you've got a bit, get a massive score, put the pressure on the bowlers. We don't do that. We don't make the pressure. We don't build that pressure on the opposition. We want them to come at us. That's.
I was at the 2015 World Cup in New Zealand when Tim Southey took 8 for when we got, embarrassed. Sri Lanka smashed us. Australia smashed us. McCullum and Guptill smashed Finn, Broadhands and round the park. We were playing 50 over like a test match. But nowadays, T20 and 50. The fact that Will Smith's been picked, having never played a 50 over game, I guess sums up what you're saying about England's approach. We see it as a T20 and you just keep on going.
Yeah. Oh, look at that England A squad, particularly the batting, is just so powerful. It is really.
And there's many other names who could have been in there. You could have picked 3 equal 11s, to be honest with you. There's probably 4 England 50 over sides that would be of similar competition strength depth.
Well, you said on commentary yesterday, you're right. You said if that was an official ODI, there's nothing wrong with that England A squad. If that was an official game as an England side, that would not look out of place. Maybe a tad weak. I think a tad weak at the bowling, but I'm being, the focus is the batting.
Yeah, Scrimshaw was. That's one thing I should mention. Scrimshaw was incredible on Saturday night. You look at the facts and the runs scored off the other 16 overs. George Scrimshaw's 2 for was incredible. His 4 overs against Somerset on a flat, ridiculous run scoring deck. And sadly, his 8 overs were poor yesterday. Bit short. I spoke to him after the game at a good couple of minutes interview, and then spent another 10 minutes just chatting to him afterwards. And he said the pitch was slightly different, interestingly, from Derbyshire lad who's never played at Taunton. He plays there twice in 4 days. Interesting. He said it was slightly different wicket, but it's different lengths. You want to bowl in a 50 over game against South African international bowlers, to be fair, batters. But
and if we are being, if we're being 100% fair, Nokia did the same problem. Nokia bowled shorter and shorter, bowled faster and faster, and the ball went further and further. He
didn't look fast to me. Yeah. He didn't look. People say, he's this quick guy in the IPL. I don't think he looked particularly fast yesterday from right behind his arm.
Well, he was quick enough, shall we say? Quick enough. But you're right. He was. And at the shorter he got, the further he went. So lots for South Africa to consider, because as you say, that is the side that's going to be playing against England, bar Barda. Although he's not going to be, actually no, he's out of the ODIs. He's not going to be available. So he's not playing the ODIs.
They'll probably miss him.
So that's a huge thing. What should we expect from the Worcester ground in itself?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I've not been there actually. Never been to New Road. But on what I've heard about it is, as I said, it's not going to be as flat as Taunton, not quite as high run scoring. But I think South Africa got to take the pitch out of the equation. They've just got to play better. Irrelevant to the pitch, they're experienced players. They played most of them played in England before, lots of times. So they've just got to bowl better lines and legs, field better, and bat better. All three facets need to improve.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. In terms of your 11 for England A, do you know what the 11 will be?
I wouldn't change the 13, so it's whether Adam Hose. So we've got to go Smeed Banton. I think Abel could have been 3 from a Somerset fan. I'm slightly biased. Duckett could have opened, really. Smeed could have been dropped down the order, but you won't change Smeed and Banton now. So Duckett, Eskenazi, that's your top 4. Abel's probably 5. Adam Hose is probably 6. Then you probably go Benny Howell, Rian Ahmed, and Lintott, 7, 8, 9. And then probably Payne and Sam Cook. So I guess George Scrimshaw would miss out in that case. But yeah, any 11 of the 13, I think, would be pretty happy.
Didn't play yesterday, did he? No.
Adam Hose didn't bat, he fielded, but yeah.
Yeah. So
he's in good form, though.
Just give us a roundup on him before I let you go.
So Adam Hose, Somerset. So he's very much like George Bartlett at Somerset. Adam Hose, right-handed bat, aggressive, number 5 or 6. Played for Somerset for a couple of years, then went up to Warwickshire. Didn't do a lot in his first couple of years for Warwickshire. Struggled to get in and out of the team. And then this year he's done really well with Chris Benjamin for Birmingham Bears, they're called, as well as Warwickshire, in the T20 Blast. He whacked 100 live on Sky the other night, so it always helps the Sky games. Although everything's streamed on YouTube and watch every single county game these days, something about it being on Sky, Rob Key and whatever's watching. So Adam Hose, great knock there the other day. Hits it hard, straight, over extra cover. Not too many cute flicks and reverse sweep, just hits the ball hard and doesn't bowl. But yeah, he's probably number 6. And a good player. Awesome.
Right. Thanks very much, Harry, for coming on. Where can my listeners and followers get hold of you, tweet you, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, Harry Everett _14 Twitter or Instagram. I do my blog. You can have a look at Harry Everett _14 Twitter. A link to my blog on there and Instagram. And I'm at a lot of county grounds. And I'll tweet about club cricket a bit as well, a bit about football. And then I'll be at finals day, hopefully this Saturday. All being well. First club match I'll miss this season, but some set of finals day, got to be there. So, yeah, great to hear from you.
Cheers, Harry. Go on, mate. Okay.
All good, mate.